Hello and welcome to Business in Pearls, a show dedicated to highlighting women in business and or business owners. I'm your host, Colette Martin, the Boss Coach. We are a show that also has the upscale marketplace, which also serves to highlighting women business owners and allowing them to sell their goods and services. So if you would like to be a guest on our show and or like to sell your goods and services, please contact me at businessinpearls@gmail.com. Once again, that's businessinpearls@gmail.com. Or if you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please contact me as well. Today, we are excited to bring on a panel pearl. Her name is Elisa Allen, and not only is she my sorority sister, yay, she's an awesome lady. She is bringing to us as guests, or I should say as the audience, her information on not only owning an etiquette school, but being president of the National Association of Urban Etiquette Professionals. I'm super excited to bring this lady on, so let's bring her in. Hello, Elisa.
Hello, how are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
Well, good. I was telling our audience about the fact that yes, you are a Sarah of Alpha Kappa
Yes,
Sorority Incorporated.
yes, I
Yay!
am.
And also a little bit about you. So I want you to dive right in. Tell us about who you are. Who is Elisa Allen?
Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting me to be here this evening. I really appreciate it, Soror. And yes, like you said, I have been a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, which was something that truly made me become who I am today, following in the footsteps of so many great women. And I've been a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha for 31 years, active 31 years.
All righty.
And I'm a life member, but I say that because I've had 31 years of learning and following behind women that I truly believe are my mentors for that long. So I just want to share that with everyone. But again, I'm so excited tonight. So who is Elisa? I am truly a very strong Christian woman. I'm born and raised here in Dallas, Texas. So go Cowboys. If you're not a Cowboys fan, I'm sorry. I am a true Cowboys fan. I think that light, that gleam of light that's coming in from the window. Sorry about that. I'll move over a little bit. Hopefully, it's not too much of a distraction.
That's okay.
Um,
We're taping live. We're not in the studio. So you know what?
okay.
What happens,
What
happens.
happens? That's right. So I have been in corporate America, Colette, for probably now about 31 of those years, and I have been very excited to be in the audience and be in the household and be in the rooms of people that I can really say have helped me, mentor me, and I have been able to mentor them as well. But getting back to Elisa, a little bit more about that outside of me being in the corporate America world where I've met a lot of good people that's been my friends for lifetime friends for a very long time. But I also started my etiquette business. I am the CEO and owner of Your Presence is Important, which is an etiquette school right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I mainly help anyone who's seeking more information about manners. I think we all want to do things differently. We all want all to do things better and the right way. So why not get into that field? I learned that field probably now about 30 years ago. And I have been working very hard in that. I just finished authoring, co-authoring a book, which is Soulful Prayers, Volume 2. I'm so excited about that. I have a page and there on page 21. What it is 44 authors who want to write about their experience. And since etiquette and protocol is so important to me, I felt that it would be very suitable to write an article or chapter in this book about etiquette. And so I do that. Now I'm gonna tell you one of my passions, the true passion of mine, of course, being in the etiquette field that I am. But the one thing that I can say a lot of people know about me is I truly give back to the community.
Yes.
You've been knowing that about me for a very long time.
Yes.
I started something that's called Coupons for College. So if anyone's out there trying to figure out, does coupons really work? Do you save money? Absolutely. I have been a queen of coupons or clipping coupons for probably about 25 years. And I learned the importance of how much you save money, and especially a time like this when we're all counting our pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters. Ways of really saving money. But what I do when I get those items, instead of storing them, instead of having 25 boxes of toothpaste and 35 things of laundry detergent, I actually give those items out to students who are leaving for college.
Oh,
And
that's
so I call them
awesome. Oh my
thank you. So I call it
God.
coupons for college. Coupons for college. So I really enjoy doing that.
You
So
know what?
that's a little bit of me.
And you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but you know what? You mentioned that, and I'm gonna be honest. I hated clipping coupons. It was something that I even got. Remember back in the day, not too long ago though, where we
Mhm.
had those expandable files. It was like,
Absolutely.
and you put the little coupons in it. I
Right,
tried
right,
that. I
right.
tried, having a regular envelope. I would have,
Right.
you know what? Every time I got to the store, I forgot
Uh-huh.
the coupon.
Oh no. No. Okay. We have to get you into the coupon theme here of doing it right.
Doing it right, especially for a cause, which is so wonderful. Like you said, coupons for college. I mean, we like you said, we're living in a time right now where it's important, especially saving money.
Mhm.
And yes, going back to like the way things used to be, as far as genuine, natural, and pure. Being
Absolutely.
able to have family and save money and just just getting back to the basics.
Yeah. It is a need right now. I think, back then it was probably doing it a little bit for fun, but now it's out of necessity. Because you think about it, and how many times now you have families who join together in a household where there was probably a household maybe two. Now you have a household of 5 or 6.
That's
So
true.
who would not need those extra items? And
Hmm.
so I have found that to be a lot of fun. And then now people are giving back. Those students that I've given to have now almost graduated and now doing the exact same thing and giving back. So,
That's
what better
awesome.
way to do that? Isn't that great?
That is
Better
so
way.
awesome. Very, very
Yeah, we can
awesome.
always bless somebody, right? We can
Yeah.
always bless somebody.
And that's just, once again, it's genuine, it's pure, it's surreal. It's not
Yes, yes.
a matter of, I'm gonna do this to get my name up in lights. I'm doing this. No, you're doing it because, like you said, giving back. And for our audience, I mean, yes, Elisa is just recognized in her community. She's just a wonderful lady, as you hear, that that
Thank you.
that wants to give back, because we tend to think, oh, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I mean, how easy was it to just do that? You know,
Right, right.
People rack
And
their brain.
yeah, so here's the funny part. When I was raised in Dallas, Texas, and my parents divorced when I was 7. So I have an older brother. He's 18 months older. And we were very fortunate to have a mother who was a hardworking mother. My dad did what he could. And but it was really only on my mother a lot. And so when you think about it, it was the women and the older men, the deacon and the deaconess and everyone at church and people that we knew, even our family members that would give my mom, maybe slide her $20 at a time or give her some coupons or give her something to help us. And then those women and men who would help my brother and I get ready to go to college. So I remember those things. I remember how financially taxing it was on my mom being a single mother. And I remember when we had to work, my brother and I, we first got our jobs, those jobs were not to buy sneakers. Those jobs were not to, go out and buy more clothes or do this. It was to really help out in the household.
There you go. There you go.
So,
We don't like think about that now. They're so, into, oh, let me go buy this, let me go buy this, let me go buy this.
right,
Which
right.
let me explain. I mean, I have a teenage son. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
But, you got to instill what's important,
You do, you do, you do. Yeah. And take it a step further. What I did was I taught young adults to show how to be thankful. A lot of times, and I told people, I grew up in the environment to where my mother, we didn't have an opportunity to send a text message once you got something from a graduation gift. You called that person. You physically call and say thank you. In today's times, that has really changed. You don't see that. They'll say to their parent, oh, tell this person thank you. No, if a person gives you something, it's right to pick up the phone and to say, or send them a card and say thank, or do both.
Yeah.
To say thank you, but just sending them a dry text, especially someone who has taken the time they could have put their money somewhere else. They could have taken their family out.
Exactly.
They could have put a little bit extra on the bill. But so I try my best to teach people how to be thankful in those areas too.
There you go. So, I mean, what I hear the information about, what formed Elisa, but how did you get into the field of etiquette? How did that come about?
Yeah, very good question. So I've shared this story, which is such an incredible story. I feel it's an incredible story, and I hear a lot of people say that. So I started out working as a recruiter with a couple of different companies. I've always been in the telecommunications industry, and so I was a recruiter at one time. And then when I started out with the second company, the company I'm with now, when I got there, Colette, they had mentioned to me, they said, we really want you to go to the HBCUs and recruit. And I was like, okay, fantastic. We knew of HBCUs, but there's so many now HBCUs that have just blown up. Back then, almost 30 years ago, was not as worldwide and so famous and so well known as it is now. And so when I started going to these schools, not only just HBCUs, but when I started going to these schools to recruit, I noticed that the students, although they were very sharp, their answers were very good. It was this one particular time when we shared with this gentleman, he was one of our top candidates. We shared with him that he was going to get a call. And the call he was going to receive was not going to be possibly from me, but from a different phone. And so I shared with him, just make sure you're prepared. And so when he got the call, he unfortunately missed the call. And I was sitting in a room with a lot of people that did not look like me. And so when we called him, and everyone knew in that room that he was our top candidate. Well, we called him, we got his voicemail. And of course, at that time, it was on speakerphone, so everyone could hear it because we were about to make this huge offer to the student. And the words on his voicemail, let me clutch my pearls, I should say, as we all know. I was embarrassed for him. I was embarrassed for him. And I thought I called the wrong number. So I dialed it again. I told him, I said in the room, I said, I must have dialed the wrong number. I know this is not who this person is. Well, they heard the voicemail again. And it was, unfortunate, just a lot of foul language, saying things about women, repeating this music, having this music in the background. And that lost him that opportunity. It did. Although he had the skill set. So that was my desire to help out. That was my desire to let them know how important telephone etiquette is. That was my desire to let them know that you always present yourself, even if they don't see you, you always present yourself well. Right. And that's how I got started.
Now, since we have a wide variety of ethnicities as an audience for the show, can you explain what the HBCUs are? Just in case.
Sure, yeah, no. The HBCUs are historically Black colleges and universities, like your Texas Southern, your Prairie View A&M University, Graham. I can go on and on and on, but so many different colleges. And those were the colleges that I mainly went to, but I also went to Houston University of Houston and SMU and things like that, but I was really focused on a lot of the HBCUs at that time.
Okay, okay. And like I said, I wanted to make sure that everyone knew, although most people know, but a lot of people
Mhm.
don't know. So
Yes.
we wanted to make sure we clarify that. And can you share with the audience, like, if I'm a person that wants to get into etiquette, I mean, how could I do that? I mean, is it, and when, forgive me, but because I
Mhm.
know I have the etiquette background as well. But a
Right.
lot of people, when they think etiquette, they think, oh, it's about how you use the fork and spoon, misconception to put the pinky up to drink. I mean, there's a reason
Right, that's
why
true.
it's done that way back in the day in England. It was a reason why the pinkies had to go up to drink the tea. But now,
Right.
when people think of etiquette, that's all they think of. And once again, that's a misconception. It's just not how to eat and how to sit at a table.
Absolutely not. I'm so glad you said that. And you're right. When you think of etiquette, even when I'm around my friends and my family and I go out to dinner or just on a really great lunch afternoon with a lot of girlfriends, we always have those times we have with our friends. A lot of people always say, oh, let me get it right. Let me eat right because Elisa's here. I'm like, no, I want you to be yourself. Just be comfortable. I want to be comfortable. So yeah, I'm not going to have the pinky up. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I want to have a good time. A lot of people feel that etiquette is just about dining, and it's absolutely not, even though that is a big portion. And I'll tell you why that's so big now. A lot of companies will invite you out to lunch before they make an offer, or they may invite you out to dinner. They're not really always just looking at your resume because that's great. Your resume can sell itself, but they're looking at those social skills. And so we talk about those things. We talk about what type of conversations you need to have at a dinner table, what type of conversation you need to have at a banquet, what type of conversation you need to have even at a networking event. That's etiquette too. A lot of people don't realize that even though you're having those conversations at a networking event or after hours event, you're still on the clock. Absolutely, you're still on the clock. So it is proper when you say, no, I have to refuse a second beverage because it's not good to be in any type of other way than sticking to the way you need to be, which is professional at all times around different people and around your coworkers. But getting back to, there's so many different levels. You have your social etiquette, you have your dining etiquette, you have your etiquette on how to dress, basic etiquette. And it all boils down to manners. It all boils down to, I just want to do it right. So when people always ask me, do you ever get tired of teaching people the right way? I never get tired of that because I think people always want to learn. Who wants to do something wrong all the time?
Yeah, no, no,
Eh, Yeah, you don't. You really don't. So people always say, okay, when you think of manners, is it okay if I say certain things? And I really try my best to teach people about the delivery. Your delivery is so important. It's how you ask for something. And the two things I always say every time I finish my class, you always want to walk away with two words, and it's thank you and please. You can always go anywhere with that. Business, social, you name it. Those are the two. And I need to have a shirt. Thank you and please made. But you know, think of how far you can go with just those two words.
mm-hmm.
Thank you and please. No, it's not just your it's not just your how to place your napkin in your lap and what glass should I drink of out of none of that. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
We also focus on which is so important now, and it's social media etiquette.
Yeah.
Social media etiquette is so critical. What you put on Facebook. Now, I've been in the business for a very long time of recruiting and HR. That's my background. That's still my I think what I do now. But a lot of people don't realize before we hire that person, I'm going to look at your social media site. I'm going to look at your Facebook.
Mm.
I'm going to look at that. So especially if I'm actually trying to hire a summer intern, even though a full-time employee, can a recruiter look at that? You got to remember anything you put out public, anybody can look at.
Yes.
So Are recruiters looking at that, determining should they bring you on board to their company? I can't say for sure it's right or wrong. I can't say for sure if they're doing it, but it does matter for you to make sure you keep everything professional in case they are.
That's a good point, and we and I'll talk about it later. I'll leave that for Coco's thoughts, but because yes, that was something that I was going to talk about. But how? Tell us about because you started already. Tell us about your school, and
Mhm.
tell us about your presidency um,
Yeah.
of etiquette. So how tell us about both of those.
Okay, so the school is again is your presence is important school of etiquette. And people always say, why did you come up with that topic?
Mhm.
Well, Colette, you know, as being a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, your presence is always important. You know, as being as a woman of who you are, Colette, Coco, the boss, I always say all those different things. I have never seen you look bad. And I say that because I haven't. You always look so beautiful. But
Thank
but but see, your presence. Oh, let's just stop and give her that praise moment. Look.
you. I need a tissue. It's the mirror.
But
The mirror.
but but look, when I say that, I mean that because
Thank you.
before you even said a word, your presence was captivating to me. And it's how you present yourself. And I tell young women all the time, you dress how you want to be addressed. So if you walk into a room, if Colette walks into a room, you don't have to say a word, but if Colette hair is together, and when I say hair, let me back up. I'm not saying you should not have natural hair. I'm not saying you should not have dreadlocks. All of that is acceptable.
Mhm.
However, what you want to do is always make sure it's neat, clean, and suitable for every situation.
And you know what? Let me interrupt you there. My
Yes.
my beautician, her name is Lori. So if she's listening, Lori, you my rock hair person, okay? But she doesn't do hair anymore. But she always said, because her company's name was, embrace the natural hair God gave you. But she
Mm-hmm.
always
Mm-hmm.
added on, natural doesn't mean that word.
Absolutely.
There's a
Absolutely.
difference. And people
Yeah.
like, merge the two, and it's like, no, natural doesn't mean no, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does not.
Natural, no extra chemicals. But like you said, keep it neat,
Yes.
neat,
Yeah.
and keep it
Keep
done.
it neat. Keep it done. And if someone walked into me and they were interviewing for any position and they had multiple colors of hair, that number one, it would be a distraction for me because I will be sitting there the whole time trying to figure out how they get that different color theme going. But you never want to bring attention to yourself. You never want to do that. So, and I teach young ladies in the School of Etiquette how you should address yourself. I mean, how you should dress. If Colette walks into a room, your hair is nicely neat, your clothing is nice, not too tight, just right. And I'm not saying you have to go out. This is one of the biggest misconceptions. When we say your attire is important, we're not saying go out to Neiman Marcus. We're not saying go out to all these fancy places. I share with young women and men for a blazer, just a nice jacket you need to wear. You can go to the thrift store and be just as fine.
Yes,
We're
yes.
all in the economic time. So we're not asking you or requesting to spend a lot of money, but your presence is important.
Mhm.
And so what I decided to do was to open up an opportunity of schools to teach boys, young men about civility, teach them about policing, how you can interact with police, how you should dress at all times, how dining is important. When you're at a dining table interviewing with someone or just a mixed crowd of people, what conversations you need to have. That is not the time for you to talk about the president of the United States of America if you don't like the president.
Mhm.
That's a time for you to get to know people and also have an opportunity maybe to visit with them in the future. And so I teach about those things and I teach long life lessons that they can learn. Young girls and young men about self-esteem. I teach the parents about it because why if we're teaching those students, if we're teaching those students all those great things, and is not enforced by the parents
Mhm.
or not known by the parents, the
Mhm.
parents might not feel comfortable in enforcing it. So
Exactly.
we talk because there are a lot of women that don't know which fork and knife to use. There are a lot of women that want to know, never been taught the right way. And so we really focus on those things as well too.
That's good. That's good. So as you recently was given the honor, the privilege, the recognition of being president of the National Association of Urban Etiquette Professionals.
Yes,
I'm trying to make
yes.
sure I got the letters right.
That is
um,
right. That is
so
right.
that is truly, truly an honor.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's that organization company has impacted women across the United States. I know because I was also trained in it, but
Right, right.
placed up there. How did that feel? I mean, how did that feel? Tell us about how it felt. Tell us about the organization. Just share.
Oh man, you know, it was such a fantastic feeling. There are words I can't even come up with because it was such a feeling of gratitude.
Mhm.
It was such a feeling of thankfulness. When I say thankfulness, it was a feeling of thankfulness because I have known Trinette for quite some time. Trinette Wilson is the owner of NAU. And when I met her, her energy was so, it's like a rubber band. Her energy is so, you bounce back, you take it, you bounce back, you take it. And it was so awarding to know and rewarding to know that there was someone, number one, she's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, so that was a blessing. But it was so good to know that she recognized what I've done in the business of etiquette. And so when she recognized me as being the uh, uh, etiquette instructor of the year, I was just honored. I was very honored because she saw the work I put into it. She saw the many classes that I posted. She saw the young boys and young girls sitting at a table learning how to eat, going to corporations and saying, "Wow, I have an opportunity to work in a corporation." She's preparing me for this on what to do and what to say. She saw all that. So recognizing the work was a true blessing to me. So when she called me and gave me the honor of offering that, I was so excited because I was like, I think my work is really being looked at right now. Not that I did feel that way.
You're being modest. I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
for the people
yeah,
that
not that I
know her,
didn't feel that way.
for the people that know her, she was so deserving, so deserving. I
Well,
mean, just
thank you.
you work, just to see you out in the community, to hear about you, look at the work that you've done. It should not have been a shock. It was not a shock for me.
It was not a shock.
It was just so like, okay, I'm here now. It was just a different spot to have you placed into. And when I saw it and read, I was like, well deserving, well
Thank you
deserving.
so much. I really work hard in the world of etiquette. I do. It is not that I'm perfect. It is that
Hmm.
I want people to realize that etiquette, number one, when someone asks me, what is etiquette? It is truly an extension of God's grace. And so when you are learning about etiquette, you will stop in your tracks, especially when you learn how you can look at saying things differently. You will stop in your tracks before you send out that email that's going to be a nasty email that what you knew was going to be terrible before you sent it. Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
been there.
yeah, yeah. You can't recall it. You can try, but it's already gonna be ready. So it stops you from saying those things in those meetings that people will look at you differently and say, "Now, why did she say that?" And the way she said it, it opens up doors. And here's what I always say, especially in the corporate America world, because I've been in that. Not only just corporate America, anyway, anywhere, anything that you do, you always want to leave an impression that people can continue talking about you when you leave the room.
I like it.
If you think about, as a matter of fact, You want them to talk about you before you even get into the room. And so if you know that there's a way you can do things correctly by setting standards and boundaries, and that's exactly what etiquette is as well, and you do those things, then it will get you through doors you never thought you could get in before. And it will get to the point where people will come to you, you won't even have to go to them. They'll ask about you. And so that's the impression I always want to leave on people. It doesn't, I do classes as young as 5 years old.
That's
And watching little 5-year-old girls and boys pick up a fork and say, okay, am I doing this right? They will always remember that.
good. Yeah.
Always remember that. And now I've created, you can find this on my website, but now I've created this huge table mat. It's 11 by 17 laminated table mat. And you can actually sit there, you can put your drink and your fork and your plate, all that other stuff. Everyday parents are using it now.
That's good.
And it's a great way. It's for kids with autism. I mean, it's just a superb way of teaching kids and adults. We don't want to leave our adults out.
No. There's so
Uh,
many that, yeah, we need it.
we all want to learn something, right? So that's the reason why I do it, and that's the makeup of, and self-esteem classes. I think that's been a big issue. You have a lot of young girls and young men that are so afraid of getting to the next level. And I was asking, why are you afraid? Because they said, I fear. So I teach them how to get that fear out. I teach them that everyone has some level of fear in anything in life.
Mhm.
And we're going to get past that. So it's been a blessing to me to teach it.
That's good. And with that, how can, if you can tell our audience as we wrap it up, how can they get in contact with you? How can they learn about more etiquette besides coming to our Business and Pearls page as you have done? How can
Thank
they
you.
get a hold of our panel pearl, Elisa Allen?
Sure. Number one, if you want to be certified as an etiquette instructor, you want to go to NAUP's website, and it's NAUEP website.com. And just, I want to put a plug in there. One of the things that you will find being a member, when I say member, because once you join, you really are a member. There are different resources that you are provided. We now do a lot of sessions about how to dress, how to share what you can do to take to classes yourself, to churches, to organizations. We equip you with all those things that you actually need. So that's one way. You can also go on my website, yourpresenceisimportant.com, and look at a lot of different things. I'm now putting a lot of etiquette tips out there. I'm putting information. It's a lot of stuff about dressing, business attire, dining etiquette, social media, everything you could possibly think of is out there on my site. Just hit on those tabs. And if you send me a message, it will come straight to me via Gmail. And then I will be happy to get back in touch with you. But the first thing is to become etiquette instructor, go to NAUP's website and you'll see all the information. We have a fantastic board member who can talk to you about the membership opportunities as well.
That sounds wonderful. And yes, please reach out to her. As we end our show, Coco's Thoughts, we are reminded, just like Elisa said, that sometimes in just getting that phone call and how you present yourself, how you come across can either make you or break you. That 30-second conversation in an elevator for a business deal can make you or break you. How you present yourself when you come into a room or when you exit a room can make or break you. So in understanding that we live in a society right now, which I said I was going to pause it, we live in a society right now that we forget that there are some rules, there are some values, there are some morals, there are some underlining etiquette things that we should do or we should know. But in life, there's no rule book. We can only place those things in and get out of it what we need. But at the same time, life has no rule book. We are living our life based on what someone showed us, someone taught us, or we had to find out on our own. Either way it goes, remind yourself that not only are you living in this world, that others are too. And with etiquette, Yes, how you present yourself, how you speak, how you write. There should be a filter of some
Mhm.
sort, a filter that says, is this right? Does this sound right? Should I wear this? Should I not wear this? How do I present myself in a meeting? Am I presentable enough to walk into a boardroom filled with other individuals who are sharp as a tack? Do I fit in? And looking at all that, especially in the time that we're in right now, we need to have those filters. We need to have those conversations. We need to know what's proper and what's not. Not that one way is better than the other, but in some instances it is. That's why we have etiquette, we have rules, we have morals, we have values. We have things in place that says something's right and something's wrong. And the gray areas in between will lean either way. So, with that being said, we wrap up our show for today. And I want to thank our panel pearl, Elisa Allen, for showing up
Thank you.
and giving us her words of wisdom on etiquette. And as usual, my Friday motivation comes from Carrie Underwood. I'm so a fan. I have no rights to this song, but it inspires me. It puts happiness, sometimes in a dark, deep world that we're in right now, to provide joy and love. So, with that, we end our show. And I want to say thank you, Elisa, for coming on.
So welcome. I love your thoughts too.
So until next Friday, we love you. We appreciate you. Be safe. And once again, thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.